How to identify priorities and actually apply that priority to your life. Let's get into it. What is a priority, firstly? So, I define a priority as the state of being regarded or treated as more important than others. So, essentially, when we say something is a priority, it means it is like the most important thing to do. And we show that something is a priority by spending more time in it. So, for example, if reading right now is something that is a priority for you, you will read more books or read more pages of your book, depending on how you're measuring it. Or if you have, two things to do, but one of them is a priority. For example, if your friend asks you to play an online game, Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, whatever it may be, but you have to finish your project and your project is a priority for you, you will choose to finish your project first before actually hopping on an online game. So let me go into this further and give you some examples. So here's Alex. Alex's primary goal is to secure a job in the next 3 months in a job that requires little to no experience, right? Alex is having trouble achieving this goal. With 2 months left to secure a job, let's have a look at Alex's schedule and figure out what's going on. Alex's current schedule is this. So at 9 a.m., he wakes up and scrolls through social media for an hour. 10 a.m., makes breakfast and watches TV while eating. 11 a.m., he checks a few job boards online and applies to one or two positions. Cool. 12 p.m., plays video games or engages in other leisure activities for him. Cool beans. 2 p.m., has lunch watching TV. And from 3 to sort of 10 p.m., a lot of it is just a lot of TikTok, a lot of TV, doom scrolling TikTok, not much going towards his goals. And if we look at the schedule in a bit more depth, we can see that literally from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., so 1 hour, he is spending going towards his primary goal. And he's wondering why he isn't getting closer to getting a job. He isn't getting interviews or companies calling him back, which is really sad because he is putting some work in, but is he putting enough in to warrant it being a priority in his life? So if we do the math, he's doing 1 hour a day dedicated towards getting a job and applies to maybe one or two positions on these job boards. Over a week, this is roughly 14 positions applied for, which isn't terrible. It is something, and he is doing something towards his goal, which is great. But of the 13 hours Alex is active and doing things, only 1 hour is dedicated towards, from Alex's perspective, his most important goal. And if this goal is a priority, meaning that is regarded and treated more important than other things, then Alex's schedule does not currently reflect that. So Alex meets with his mentor to discuss what he's doing wrong. His mentor looks at his schedule and immediately can tell the issue. The mentor works with Alex to redo his daily schedule to work towards his primary goal and build the skills to achieve it. So let's have a look. So as you can see, Alex's new schedule looks a bit different. So he actually wakes up an hour earlier than he did before. And this is what he does. At 8 a.m., he wakes up and he eats a healthy breakfast. 8:30 to 10:30, this is work time. He is doing focused job search. He's targeting specific companies and roles and tailoring resumes and cover letters, applying for at least 5 jobs. Between 10:30 and 11, he breaks and exercises for a bit. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., another 2-hour block. He's doing some skill development. So he is taking online courses relevant to the jobs he's applying for. He breaks for lunch for 30 minutes and then he has another 2-hour block where he does some application follow up. So he emails or calls back jobs he's applied for. He does some research on the different companies he's applying for or he's planning to apply for, and he prepares for potential interviews because he understands that this is a really important skill to have. From 3:30 to 4 p.m., he has a break and he reviews the day's work. And from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., he does some planning for tomorrow. So he just sets specific and achievable goals for him to achieve tomorrow. And then from 5 p.m. onwards, so 5 p.m. to just before 10 p.m., is his leisure time. So he decides what he wants to do, and he does at least 1 hour of exercise, has some social interaction with his friends or others for 30 minutes, and then he still has time to play some video games, Marvel Rivals, Fortnite with his friends, which is awesome. And then 10 p.m. he goes to bed. So if we actually zoom in and we analyze the actions Alex is now taking towards his primary goal and his self-described priority, Alex is spending in total 7 hours a day of his current 14-hour day towards getting a job. 7 times more than what he was working towards before. This means that per week he is spending 49 hours, so 7 days a week, 7 hours a week, 49 hours per week towards his goal. And look, I don't know about you, but now this is sounding a lot more like it's a priority in Alex's life. So if we actually break this down even further with the comparison between the two in terms of hours worked in his previous schedule and hours worked and outcomes in his new schedule, we can see that on the upper end of, the 7 hours per week, he submitted 14 applications. On the other end of the spectrum, the 49 hours per week, he submitted 35 tailored, so specific to each role applied for each week. If we take out the fact that they are tailored, so likely they're higher quality applications, that's at least 21 extra applications submitted each week. So an 150% increase in applications submitted, which is nuts. Like, it's a complete change. And obviously, the more work he puts in, so if he puts in another 21 extra applications each week, the more likely, statistically, he will get a phone call, get an interview, and get a job. Also, during his 49 hours a week, he also spends 14 hours per week developing his skills in online courses so that he can add them to his resume so it looks better for the jobs he's applying for. But in my opinion, more importantly, Alex is building more foundational skills that he can bring to a job that an employer may look favorably upon, not just before he gets the job, but actually once he's in employment and actually starts to work. Alex also spends 14 hours a week, firstly, following up on applications, because sometimes employers lose or forget to follow up on resumes themselves. And if Alex wants those jobs, which that's his primary goal and that's his priority, he knows he is to drive for them. He also spends some of this time researching the companies and preparing for potential interviews, because Alex now understands that interviewing is a very important step to actually getting the job. So the more he prepares, the more he practices his interview skills. So if the opportunity arises, Alex has done the work and is confident to take on the interview. And I haven't even mentioned the 14 hours a week on here that Alex spends preparing his specific and achievable goals for the following day to ensure Alex stays on task and knows exactly what he has to do. So, from doing that work, Alex gets a job as a grocery assistant at Coles, which includes restocking shelves, so rotating stock, so moving older items to the front to ensure the freshness, cleaning shelves and displays, removing expired items, and assisting with deliveries, so unloading and moving stock from the delivery trucks, which is awesome. He also gets the opportunity to work in helping fulfill online orders, as he has spent time upskilling himself with online courses around different software and technology that Coles also happens to use for their online orders. This opportunity allows Alex to get more hours during the week to work with an increased likelihood of promotion after his probation period, which is super cool. Alex has now achieved his primary goal when he made this a priority to his schedule. Now, with the understanding of what a priority is, Alex's new primary goal is to save enough money to purchase a car for himself outright with no loan within the next 6 months. With the help of Alex's mentor, Alex figures out how to adjust his schedule. So Alex has a new schedule day to day to reflect this new priority and works towards achieving it. The question now is, what's your priority? And how can you adjust your schedule to reflect that it is a priority? To reflect that this thing, this goal, whatever you're trying to achieve, is regarded and treated as more important than other things. I hope that this was helpful to realize or understand how to identify and how to change your day-to-day to achieve your current primary goal, and it actually be regarded as something more important than others. I hope that you can actually apply this to your life and goals and achieve them so you can work towards your hopes and dreams.